Welcome to Dice and Mind, a podcast hosted by Brad Brown and Jason Kaufman to explore the intersection of life, games, science, music, philosophy, and creativity through interviews with leading creatives. All are welcome in this space.
Well, we're back at it after a little bit of time off, and what better way? Wow, it has been a while. What better way for us to be back into the swing of meeting creatives than to have one of our first ever guests back with us with a new book to talk about.
That's right. You are, of course, talking about Shelly Mazzanoble, who 3 years ago, give or take, does that sound right? Let me
Yeah.
look that up. I think it was, so it was actually almost like within a month or so, within a month and a half of 3 years, she was like, "Yep, thank you for
Episode 25, November 22nd,
yep,
2021.
yeah." So I mean, like we were saying to her off air, after this interview, you'll hear in a moment, her willingness to waste her time with us when we were a brand new podcast. You and I really had not at all figured out where this was going to go, or I should say, we had and we were wrong.
Yeah.
And I think her willingness really, I'll speak for me, really legitimized this little endeavor of Dice and Mind. Like maybe it has legs, maybe some people will enjoy this. Maybe we should keep going. And that really was in part due to Shelley's time with us. And so to have her back yet again, a third time actually, yeah, is really cool.
When we had her on the first time, um it was actually fun.
It was truly fun.
And she actually, after you hit the end, after you stopped recording, she actually made it a point of saying that she had fun.
Yep.
She had been doing the Dragon Talk podcast, so this
For
was
a long
being
time.
on.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Well,
so
she was a
being
pro.
she was a pro, so she could have, so she very well could have just said thank you and moved on, but she stayed on and chatted with us a while.
And I mean, she was part of the Dungeons and Dragons machine. She
Yeah.
was legit with the biggest game in the history of RPGs.
Yep.
And for her to, yeah, for her to spend a little time and then right, and then really have a good time with it, that was really meaningful for us. And so it's been lovely the times we've been able to bring her back. And uh, you know, again, like last time we had her on, it was with Greg Tito, and they talked about their book at the time. And it just so happens Shelley came back to talk about her book at this time. Shelly Mazzanoble is an award-winning author of essays, books, two unfinished novels, some short stories, and one-act plays that have actually been produced. Most surprising, she is sometimes a mother. She loves writing about reality TV almost as much as parenting. Then there's all the Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Shelley has written 3 books about D&D: Confessions of a Part-Time Sorceress, A Girl's Guide to the Dungeons and Dragons Role-Playing Game; Everything I Need to Know I Learned from Dungeons and Dragons, One Woman's Quest to Trade Self-Help for Elf-Help; and Welcome to Dragon Talk, Inspiring Conversations about Dungeons and Dragons and the People Who Love to Play It, co-authored by Greg Tito. Most recently, Shelley has written How to Dungeon Master Parenting, a guidebook for gamifying the child-rearing quest, leveling up your skills, and raising future adventurers.
So, it's been a while since Jason and I have recorded together, and I think it is only appropriate that we have Shelly Mazzanoble back with us, because Shelly, I believe, and Jason, correct me, you were our first guest that was someone that we hadn't known beforehand.
Our first,
Wow.
our first air quote famous guest. Absolutely.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were blown away that you said yes the first time.
Yeah, when you said yes
Wow.
the first time, it was like, whoa, someone who we didn't actually like know who actually
Right.
wanted to like come and chat with us. And
Dang, I could have
Yeah.
played harder to get.
you could have, you really could
Yeah.
have.
Wouldn't have taken much.
No, we
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
just so excited to talk to you.
Oh, we were
But
so excited to have you.
yeah,
God.
and you coming back now is just it's such a great timing too, because you have a new book coming out.
Yes, I
And
Mhm.
do.
and you mentioned just before we hit record that the timing of the book
It's really good.
is really good based off of another release that's going on, and I don't want to overshadow your release, but it's just it's interesting. So your book, How to Dungeon Master
I
Parenting.
love that.
I think it's great.
That's so good.
And I was actually talking to my wife tonight about this. Now, I don't allow family members to see the materials that we get, pre-release. It's just I
Oh,
do
yeah.
that as,
Right, right, of
you
course,
know,
yeah.
but
Also, none of our family members would ever want to see anything associated with this podcast. So,
well,
in all fairness,
no,
it's
no, no,
pretty
no, no,
easy.
no, no, no. I bring that up. I bring that up only because when I read her the title about it,
Oh,
she had the look on her face, kind of like I might be interested in
Let
seeing
her
what this
see
is about.
it.
So
yeah, you've
so
been
I
given
would
permission.
so I yep, I've just got recorded permission. So I might
There you
I
go.
might I might send this over now after the podcast so that she can take a look at it, just because even though we have adult children now, um it it still might be a good read, because let's be honest, even with an 18 and a 20 year
I mean, you're
old.
still
Yes.
parenting.
Oh yeah, we're still
Exactly. It
parenting.
never
Yeah.
ends. Did anyone
No,
tell you this before you dove into this job? It never
no,
ends. Just
No,
no,
it just
no,
changes. It
no.
just changes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. So what was the onus behind you going down the path and writing this one?
Well, okay, so first of all, I also like to refer to it as How to Dungeon Master Parenting
Mhm.
because it's easier to say. But as usual, I have tacked on a very long subtitle,
Oh, I missed
which
it.
I
I'm
I
sorry.
will
love the
Yeah.
subtitle.
I
Yeah.
almost always forget. So I actually have to write it down. How to Dungeon Master Parenting, a guidebook for gamifying the
Mhm.
child rearing quest, leveling up your skills, and raising future adventurers. Woo! So we
That's
can just call it
actually
How to DM
now wait,
Parenting.
did you come up with that?
I think I came up with most of that. And
Nice.
then thankfully, the fine people at University of Iowa Press
Yeah.
finessed it and made it a
Yeah.
thousand times better.
It's so good that it's actually the subtitle that really caught me.
Oh,
Cause I
good.
mean, like we all it's like I mean, like the three of us obviously we kind of we like kind of like, well, she must be going in this direction. Like we get it on the face of it.
Yeah.
But then you see that it's like, yeah, I'm in. Because
Mhm.
it's like, okay, this isn't just like lip service. This is the real thing. And obviously going through it, it's like this is hilarious. It's like you're literally DMing your kids.
You are DMing your kid. Like I have believed for a long time that dungeon masters are the smartest people on earth and that you can pretty much learn anything from a dungeon master. And you always hear the reverse of people saying, "Oh, I learned storytelling from
Yeah.
being a dungeon master," or "I learned like how to command an audience because of dungeon mastering," or "how to lead people," or public speaking, like that kind of thing. So, I mean, if you can learn all of those things, I got to thinking, what can't you learn from a dungeon master?
Yeah.
But the parallels between dungeon mastering and parenting are eerie. Like there's a lot of similarities. Like what started in my brain is like a what if, like maybe I could write an article or an essay about this.
Yeah.
Actually, the
Yeah.
more I dove into it, I was like, oh no, there actually is something here. Dungeon masters can teach parents, even if you don't play D&D, even if you've never
Right.
dungeon mastered, even if you don't ever want to be a dungeon master, you just have to think like one. You just have to take the tenets of dungeon mastering and really just D&D overall. And I'm telling you, there are some pretty amazing best practices and how-tos. They say babies don't come with rule books, but I beg to differ. I think they
And
do.
and this logic like totally legitimates the notion of if you're having dinner and everyone's crying at the table, you're doing something right.
Spoken like a true dungeon master.
Right.
There is a section in there that talks about different DMing styles and how that might inform your
Oh, I
parenting
saw.
style?
There's a forgive me. I took this, and we've had, and thank you for this, and thank you to your team, because like as this episode drops and this interview drops, like the book is still a few-ish weeks from actual
Yes.
release, but but we've had the galley print for some time, and I took the quiz because I couldn't resist.
Oh
I
my God, I
I
love
took the
quizzes.
quiz. And I thought, okay, that's pretty clever and nuts. I I don't have it in front of me. I've got to find it. I fell right in the middle, like exactly in the middle of
You're on the
two
cusp.
right down the middle. And here, Brad can vamp while I'm looking for it, but I'm curious what you think of
I
where
know.
I
I want.
fell.
Well, as you're doing that, I just as a side comment, kind of sidebar, I found it when I was just looking when I first got the copy. One, I loved that, um,
There you
at the
go.
beginning of the book, you got a quote from Dr. Megan Connell, who has been a guest on
Oh,
the show.
She's great.
Dave.
She's
Yep.
and you got a quote from Todd Stashwick. All hail Todd
I
Stashwick.
know.
Man, oh
Um,
man,
Yes,
so
Todd was like one of the first people to respond, which
that's
just
so cool.
warms my heart.
so both a fan of him from the stuff we've seen from him from D&D and from Star Trek, obviously as well.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I figured we shouldn't
Yeah.
we won't
It's
talk about
new.
that. But yeah,
Right.
it's newer.
It's
Uh,
okay.
but
I found the
yep,
quiz. I want your
yeah.
Okay.
opinion since you wrote the book here. Um,
Okay.
this intrigued me. I haven't thought about this for a while, but I'm thinking about it now. I right down the middle. I
Okay.
scored equally fighter and paladin.
Okay.
And
Similar.
like I was looking at that and I was thinking, you know what? That's actually like Brad's giving me like maybe I can see that in my parenting. Right.
Really?
Yeah. No, that's got pretty high face validity for me. Like I can see that based on the situation. Like, I mean, anyone who knows me knows that fighter is not what comes to mind. Right. Certainly,
Paladin I see
yeah.
with you.
Lover
But
doesn't come to mind any sooner either. But like I'm not an aggressive person.
and
But
I don't need that
yet,
visual either,
no
but
one
go
does.
ahead.
But
Yeah.
but yet, when it comes to my girls, especially when they were little, but even now
Heck
that the
yeah.
first one is in college, super protective,
Yeah.
right? But then otherwise, yeah. So I got a kick out of that. I thought that was a really neat tool for the book.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like it goes a little it backwards in like how you would react. The quiz is we can give you an example. Can I give you an example of
Please.
like one of the questions? Okay.
Yeah,
Let's see. You are receiving unsolicited advice about your parenting choices. Whom do you prefer to hear it from?
that's good.
A, two smartly dressed teenagers in a glossy pamphlet. B, your kickboxing instructor. C, a keynote speaker at your weekly charity event. D, hopefully you'll never know because they were smart enough not to show their face. E, a book. Even this one. Gosh, aren't books just the greatest?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
good.
that's the kind of questions that you'll be asked, and then your answers will determine like what you might play in D&D, but also how that may also, like you said, inform some of your parenting choices. All parents have a little bit of fighter in them. Let's be honest. Like
You'd
you're going
hope
to do
so.
anything, yes,
Right,
to
right.
protect your kid, but there might be like a rising sign somewhere in the background too. Like the 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 cleric who is very just calm and
Yeah,
zen for you, and the
yeah.
wizard who's always just like, there to help you with your math homework or whatever. Not me. I play a wizard in D&D. I do not play one in real life.
Funny. Why this book, Shelley? I mean, why now from you? Like, I'm really, really curious. Like, how did you get from here to there? Like, what was the genesis?
So I can't remember when last time we talked, I think I already had the D&D club at my
Hmm.
son's school. Okay.
Yep,
Yes.
you talked a lot about it.
So
Hmm.
we did that because we did talk about the whole
Yeah.
education and D&D and
Yep.
how great it is for kids. Well,
Hmm.
so we had a second season of the D&D club.
Oh, good.
I know, and now my son just started middle school, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
the elementary school actually did ask if I still wanted to run the D&D club, even though my son's no longer there. I'm like, I can't do that anymore.
That's sweet.
But unfortunately, his middle school has a thriving D&D club, from what I heard, but I have
Makes
been
sense.
forbidden from entering those hallowed halls.
Oh.
I am not allowed. He was like made it very clear.
He doesn't
Nah.
know he
Well,
doesn't know the
welcome,
connections or anything.
welcome to middle school.
He does not exactly. It changed so quickly. He was like, "You will have nothing to do with that club. You will not
Yeah.
ever step foot in the
Wow.
school unless you're picking me up early." Like that's no.
It'll pass.
Um, it'll pass. But anyway, I was spending a lot of time around kids and Dungeons and Dragons and all of those things that I have heard about how great D&D is for kids and all the amazing social emotional learning and
Yeah.
the math, the reading, the writing, all of that I was seeing in real life. And
Mhm.
also, like, I was a dungeon master and I was learning a lot about the role of dungeon mastering.
Mhm.
Guess what? By doing it. And all of the things that I thought I about DMing were completely wrong. But there's a lot of DM skills that transfer to parenting. There's a
Yeah.
lot of, if you were describing a great dungeon master, you might use some of the same words to describe a great parent, or at least how you strive to be as a parent. They're generous collaborators. They
Mhm.
are skilled at dealing with many different personalities. They're great at improv. They are very patient. They they can pretty much do anything. Um, Empathy, like all of that's so important. And I kept seeing the similarities between like the things that I was striving for parenting my kid and the things that I was striving for DMing for these
Mhm.
kids. So, um, basically, this book, I guess, was born of my insecurities because you're always wondering, like, am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
does my son does he like me? Does he compare me to other moms? Would he choose a different mom if he could do it? Um, will he have good memories of this? These are many of the same questions I asked myself after every DMing session.
Right.
Those kids like me? Do they like D&D? Are they having good memories here? Am I doing it right? What what are they learning from me? What is my son learning from me? You see other families and you think, "Oh, wow, they're so different than our family. Like they eat dinner together every night. We don't do that." Or they're
Yep.
very, very strict and we're kind of like, a little bit more permissive. And wow, like, their houses look different. Everything is different. And yet, like we're all playing the same game. We
Right.
just all have different rules. And
Mhm.
again, that's a very important thing to learn about playing Dungeons and Dragons. You've all played D&D with different people, I presume, right?
Mhm.
and and you notice they play differently, but it's still the same game of Dungeons and
Very true.
Dragons. So all of this really got me thinking about how similar all of those thought patterns were, but also like a lot of the same actions that a dungeon master might employ in a game were also some of the same actions that I was employing or trying to employ
Yeah.
parenting my kid. It all just kept overlapping. Like for instance, I thought to DM, you had to prep a lot. Like I'm sure I've told you, or you've heard the story about my first attempt. I totally over
Yeah.
prepared. I had everything on rails because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. Like I can't go into this without knowing like every single little tiny detail. And then of course the players didn't do anything that I had planned because they're not supposed to. It's their
Mhm.
world. They're
Mhm.
supposed to
Mhm.
just explore and just see what they want to do and what's over here and turn this corner and who the heck knows. Parenting's the same. Like there are obviously basic skills you should learn before your child arrives. Maybe how to put them in a car seat.
Yep.
Maybe like how to change a diaper if this is if you are now in possession of a child of diaper wearing age. There are some very basic things that yes, please learn CPR. Like there are things you should know. And then there's literally millions of things that you don't need to know because they're probably never going to happen. I found that very, very freeing that as a dungeon master, and I became a much better dungeon master when I freed myself from worrying about all of these what ifs that probably were never going to happen. And
Right.
just knowing the things that the basic survival skills really
Mhm.
gave me confidence so that when those random what ifs did happen, I just knew like, okay, what would a dungeon master do? I'm just going to roll with this. We're going to
You didn't
figure it
have to
out.
be a parental encyclopedia.
Nope. You can just improv your way straight out of this situation and it's going to be fine.
That's pretty cool. I do question why there is not a chapter on TPK, but I suppose there's always a page limit for any book.
Yeah, the editor probably cut that. I'm sure I had it in there.
I'm sure you had it in there.
You hit something, and just maybe I'm just sidebarring or I'm rabbit holing just for a second, but you hit on something, and that is that, you know, you know, group of parents sit down, or you have your kid and you have your parents, your kids' friends and their parents, and maybe you all parent a little bit differently. I know, Jason and I have known each other 32 years. We both have
Wow.
we have two
Tell me
kids.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. We both have two kids. He's got two girls. I've got a boy and a girl. We parent differently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And just based off of how we were raised, culturally, everything like that.
Yep.
We do,
Yep.
and we talk about it, and we
Yeah.
know we parent differently. Um, you know, but that's okay. We don't look down on each other for it.
Right.
We laugh about areas where things might have gone goofy.
Mhm.
I'll say this because I know for sure that
No one's listening.
no one in my family will ever hear this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was telling him the story that yesterday my 20-year-old son came home with both of his ears pierced. Didn't see that coming.
Wow.
Yeah. So, um, but
What'd you do?
Ooh, good
I'm the,
question.
I'm the type of parent. I'm the type of parent. He's 20 years old.
Right.
He's been
Yep.
wanting to do it for a while. He made the conscious choice. He made the decision to do it. I didn't know he was going to do it beforehand, so I didn't have time to have a discussion with him. He made the decision. I wasn't going to knock him for it. It's one of those things where if he doesn't want him after a while, he can take them out and they'll close. So
Yeah.
one of those things that he can, in effect, back out of it later if he wants to. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to me.
But
So,
I do think it's neat to.
but my point is, sorry, just before I
Yeah.
didn't want to turn this about me. And my point is
No,
that it's funny you say that, and I just think there's a broader context to that. Is that the way you said it is, and the way you describe it, it's just too bad we can't have that type of mentality in a broader context where we can be different, but we can
Yeah.
still exist and have these type of discussions and and still learn and and still game it. I think that's one of the things from the
Mhm.
book. Like, one of the reasons I think that, like, my wife would be interested in the book, and she doesn't play, is I think you can come at this book from an angle of having gamed, or you can come
Yeah.
Or
at this
not.
book
Yeah.
from not having gamed, but
Mhm.
being a parent, or not,
Yes.
or being a new parent. And I think you can see there is, I think, a hook to gaming potentially in this book, even if you haven't gamed before as well.
Okay, I'm glad you said that and saw
Yep.
that because
Yep.
I did try. I didn't want to. I mean, there's like 90 million people who count themselves fans of Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Are they all going to buy the book? I don't think so. So there's going to be some people in there that I don't want to cut out. Like, I actually
Mhm.
want those people who are parents to see this book and be like, well, that's kitschy. That's weird. A
Right.
dungeon master can teach me how to be a parent. Yes. Like, I actually wrote it with those people in mind too. Like, we're not getting too inside baseball here,
Mhm.
at any point when I'm talking about the D&D stuff. it's more of an explanatory sort of way.
Just one sec.
So
Jason, baseball is an American sport that they throw a ball and you hit it.
Right.
Okay.
That's the one like fast cricket, right?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
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 No, I do
Okay.
think, Shelley, though, that comes through. Looking through the book, it's
Mhm.
like not lots of random number generating tables, right?
Yeah.
It's like when I saw that and started going through it, I thought very much what you're saying, like the sweet spot to me seems to be almost like the D&D or gaming adjacent, right? Like maybe
mhm,
you
Yeah.
know people who play, but this
yeah,
is neat. And I mean, we've all been new parents, right?
yes,
And we've
Mhm.
probably all seen, like I can look at that. No, it moved. Yeah, that shelf over there. And that's where I still have all the baby books that either
oh,
my wife and or I read. And I will say the baby repair manual or maintenance manual, which was written for dads. Still, that was hilarious. Like, very simple
yeah,
diagrams. But
yep,
the whole point was like, I think like with your book, you can access it and it's just so darn non-threatening.
Yes.
Right. That
that's
it's
good.
about, but seriously, right? It's about, and that's what gaming should be too, right? That's what being at the table should be.
Yeah,
Of
yes,
you're all welcome at the table, and here are some tricks, and here are some tips, and let's have some fun. But like you were saying, Brad, at the end of the day, you're all going to play your own way, and this is something
yes,
common that can help you.
yes, and that is something that I've always heard from dungeon masters, from the people who make the rules of this game. My coworkers, the
Yeah,
lead designers, have always said, "You don't worry about the rules. They're there as a guide. Use
yeah,
them or don't. It doesn't matter." And that is like my mom used to always tell me that as well. Like there are no rules. Like you just figure it out. And I found that to be horrifying. Like but I want there to be rules. I don't want to figure this out. But then you learn pretty quickly, like, okay, like it is whatever works for you. Whatever is going to work
yeah,
for your family
yeah,
is what's like I thought I would have been a totally different parent than the parent that I am.
Mhm.
Like my son
yeah,
and I were just talking about this the other day because Bart, my husband, is like way more of like I will discipline. Like I am here to lecture and tell you the things. Like he's much more like the, the
yeah,
bad guy, the bad cop. And I'm like, no, like I'm the gentle parent. Like I'm shocked by this. I thought for sure I would be a tough love mom. Like I have a tough love mom. She was the
yeah,
greatest.
yeah,
I just thought like absolutely. No. I realized also that you can't really determine what kind of parent you're going to be until you get the kid because you don't know what kind of kid you have.
that's right.
So very early on, we realized this is not a kid you can yell at. And thankfully, he
Yeah,
never did many things that we
yeah,
had to yell at him.
yeah,
When we just would raise our voice to be like, don't cross the street or something, like he would like almost burst into tears. Like he was just like, did not respond well to that. You
yeah,
can't yell at this kid. But
yep.
what you can do is like sit him down and he loves to talk. He just likes to like talk about uh, his
That's
feelings, like
cool.
what
Yeah,
happened. Like I
Oh,
use role playing on
that's
him
nice.
all the time because like he really likes to like act out a situation. Like how could we have done this differently? Okay, you be the substitute teacher and I will be you. Now imagine like you're coming into a class of strangers and you're like,
Nice.
the role play stuff works on him. So I am forced by my child to be a gentle parent. I am what I that is a parenting style. That is a parenting style I read about before becoming a parent. And I was like, oh, hell's no. And that is me 100% with that kid. I only have one.
Mhm.
You have multiple kids, so you can probably attest to this. They're not going to be the same. Like
Oh
just because
no.
you have one that responds
No.
well to gentle
Nope.
parenting, the other one may not. So you do, like a dungeon master, have to be able to tailor your actions to different personalities, to different player types. And
Yeah.
that's just a
Well,
skill that
and you
Yeah.
said you had to kind of like counter and you meld with your spouse as well.
yes.
Because
Right.
like for me,
Right.
because I thought I was going to be, because I was always the fiery one. And Jason knows this, when I was younger,
Yeah.
I was the one that had the short fuse.
Yeah.
when I was younger. Well, it turns out, bless my wife's heart, she has a short fuse too, and so I just by default mellow
Yeah.
out, and so I became the mellower one. And
Interesting.
so I'm the mellower parent than her, and she's not. I mean, w no capital
Stop while you're
punishment for
ahead.
it.
You're doing
Yeah,
great.
no,
Stop
no, no,
while
no,
you're ahead.
no capital,
But the same too. Like
no
Bart's
capital,
not.
no capital
Yeah.
punishment for our kids.
Bart's
or
not
anything.
like like
Yeah.
raging like a barbarian. Like
Oh,
Bart
no.
is just more of like, we can't do this. You have
Yeah.
to X, Y, and he still has gentle undertones,
Right.
but
Yeah.
but yes, he's much more of the heavy hand. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
like you though. Maybe like you're saying, maybe by default, one of us brought it up a notch or brought
I'm
it
just
down
wondering
a
if how
notch. I don't
we
know.
just ended up
Yeah.
kind of we all just kind of ended up. I imagine Jason, you and Amy did the same thing. We just kind of ended up complimenting each other. You
I'd
know,
like to
I want to
think
write
so.
another
You know?
chapter now. I want to write a chapter on co-DMing and the co-parenting. You just gave me more
Ooh.
ideas.
Oh, see, there's your
Oh,
second book.
I was gonna say
You know?
cough
There we
cough
go.
sequel.
You know,
Right.
the advanced DM guide, the
I'm
advanced.
just thinking like bonus content, but okay, let's
Oh,
go.
there we go.
One new book.
Yeah. Well, see, now there's another reason to join us again for another episode.
There you go. See you next year.
Mhm.
Same time next year.
That's
Yep.
great. How long did it take you to once you knew what you were going to do? How long did it take you to write it?
That's a good question. Okay. That's a really good question. I feel like I had a big window of time, like maybe 9 months almost. And I probably didn't do anything for the first 6 months. Like a good writer, like just,
Oh my God.
oh, what am I going to write about? That's not true. I did. I like tinkered away. I am not great at the just get the first draft out.
Oh, sure.
That's like that's the really hard part for
That's
me.
hard. Yeah.
I know some writers write and edit at the same time, and I do not. Well, I
Okay.
don't do that. I can't
Yeah.
do that. I just have
Yeah.
to put something out there and then build and build and build and build and then cut. I really, it was probably like 7 to 8 months.
Okay. Okay.
And
Yeah.
and then it's the whole publishing process is so weird because it's like really slow, like nothing's happening. And then it's all of a sudden like, well, now it's this. And now you have to do the edits and review the galley and blah, blah, blah. And like all these things all happen at the end. And
Mhm.
I mean, I was still trying to change things like 3 weeks ago. And they were finally like,
Oh,
stop,
wow.
stop, stop. This book is going to the printer. Stop. But yeah, you're never really done, are you? Never.
I just don't want to see typos in anything I put out there.
I know.
Which you know
Well,
have to be there. Yeah.
So there's going to be an audio book version, and I got to
Oh.
narrate it,
Oh,
and I actually
cool.
found like 2 typos in that process. It's like curses, but
I was gonna say,
anyway.
so the recording where you're swearing, they cut that out. They don't use that
That's
for the
bonus material.
the unabridged version.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, that's funny.
What else has so beyond that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else has been on your plate?
Yeah.
Beyond writing books.
Yeah.
Right.
Or well,
You know,
maybe
just
I don't
that.
want
Oh, book.
Yeah.
I should just say book.
I was just gonna
Well,
say,
but this is your second book.
Yeah.
It's my 4th technically.
Oh, yes.
About D&D. Like, what is happening?
Oh my
to me?
God,
This
Shelly,
is
that's
not
right.
what I thought my path would be.
That's amazing.
I'm very grateful, but I mean, D&D is just endless inspiration. So.
Have you
Yeah.
done any of the cons
Yeah.
this year or anything like that? Or
I didn't. I was going to go to Gen Con, and then I had to record the book during that time period. I had like one window of time, so I couldn't go. But
Wow.
it was, from what I heard, a great show. But yeah, we've been very busy, as you know.
Is there
new
much
core
going on
rulebooks.
with D&D?
I mean, a few little things,
Okay.
a few releases happening. Brand new core rulebooks.
Yeah.
The 2024 Player's Handbook, DMG, which is Dungeon Master's Guide. I'm sure your listeners know that, and the Monster Manual.
Mhm.
As you mentioned at the top, Brad, the release date is serendipitous. This book, my book, comes out on the same day as the Dungeon Master's Guide. which I thought was, I mean, totally unrelated. They're published by
I mean,
different
a
publishers.
good DM, or in fact, anyone who reads would be to buy both.
It's, I mean, obvious. It should just be a
Hopefully,
bulk
hopefully,
purchase.
Amazon will use their
They should be
algorithm.
bundled, really.
They'll
There should
bundle
be
it
like a
together.
little bundle right
Right.
there on the bottom of the
Right.
page, where they're like,
Yeah.
you should
Yeah.
buy this and this
I mean, the
together.
DM
you,
guide is a
you
little.
like dungeon mastering.
That's right.
Yeah.
The DM guide is a little harsher and darker than your book, but I
Yeah.
think that's a nice balance.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, the 2024 Dungeon Masters Guide, I am in love with that book because
Yeah,
for
why?
the first time ever, it's teaching you how to be a dungeon master.
Oh,
It's
good.
not assuming like any inherent knowledge. It starts at the beginning. What is a dungeon master? What is this role? What have you signed up to do here? And it's got so much guidance, so many resources. Like there's bunches of handouts, there's sample adventures, there's
Oh,
plot
cool.
hooks, there's like a bunch. I love maps, and there's
Mhm.
like 12 or 15. I can't remember. I should know this off the top of my head.
Wow.
But there's lots of maps that you can customize, like just very commonly explored locations. You're going into town. Here's the town market. Here's the town square.
Oh, that would
A
be so
dragon's lair.
useful.
Here's a dragon's lair. Here's just a dungeon. Here's a forest, like a keep, like so many, like just
Oh, wow.
really good
That's super
tools
cool.
and resources. And they also put in, which I thought was brilliant, advice, like real world potential problems that a dungeon master would need to solve. Like, what do you do if your players don't like each other? Like, just how do you manage personalities? How do you
again,
manage
I'm
scheduling conflicts? Like that kind of thing.
These are issues that apply to a home with 2 or more children.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, a lot of that, of the same advice that you would give a dungeon master.
Yeah.
Applies to a
That's
parent.
really
One of the most basic things that I think new parents should really consider is a session 0. That's in a D&D world, the session 0,
Yeah.
the party would come together, talk about their goals for the campaign, talk about what kind of campaign it is, what their players are, like that. How do we know each other, like that kind of thing. Just, very basic. Here's what to expect. Here's my goals. What are your goals? It's a great idea for new parents. Ideally, like before that child arrives
I
at
mean,
your home.
whatever, right? No, and hopefully it won't be a surprise. Like, oh, I don't have any
Right.
of my characters prepped. No, but I mean, like, I think between my wife and seriously, between my wife, I never thought about it like this. Between the two of us deciding, yeah, it's time to have a kid, right? Like, not just we'll have a kid, like we just assumed, but like, okay, let's try to have a family. Between that moment and number 1 arrives, I think honestly for us, it was a session 0. Like there was just constant background chattering about
Yes.
little bits and pieces over, because that was I know over that year maybe or whatever it was, like that was like a constant discussion. And you're right, it is like a session 0.
Yes.
Trying to name a child is even harder than trying to name a character.
And I mean, I guess you could do like a random baby name generator, but I don't know what you would come up with.
We've got
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
I was the worst when it came to naming. I have a mother who was a teacher too, and so we come up with a name, and then by chance it was slipped to my mother, and she goes, "Oh, I would have so and so. Oh, he was a bad child." Oh, well, there goes there goes that name out the window. So we lost 3 names because somehow they slipped to her, and
Have you not heard of the GM screen?
yeah, well,
good point.
It was almost better in a way that we knew ahead of time, but
Otherwise she'd have to love the child.
I didn't want B names because last name was Brown, and all of my family started with a B, and I didn't want to carry that on. And I didn't want anyone to have initials that spelled out a name because
thank you for thinking of that.
Because I
was going to say, you're Bob.
I'm B-O-B.
Right.
So I didn't want that. So I had all these named out, and I had syllable
Does it rhyme with anything?
So I had it. I was the worst when it came to it.
You were crazier. You were crazier than us. We didn't want anything that would be readily abbreviate it, right? Like
Oh,
I
really?
discovered I had all kinds of, this will shock Brad. I had all kinds of opinions about fill in the blank, but like naming our kids, it was like I was surprised to learn I had all kinds of opinions about, or I guess I just felt strongly like I don't want to give a child a name which will then never be used.
Oh, interesting.
That
Well,
seems like a lot of work for nothing.
my son's
Well,
name
that's
is
like my name.
yeah.
Yeah.
My real name is Michelle. No one
Oh,
ever calls
yeah.
me Michelle, ever.
Right.
Like it's completely wasted. The same people who named me Michelle nicknamed me Shelly.
And you
They
never
were
use
just like, we're
Michelle?
That seems like a lot of
no,
effort.
we're
Yeah.
gonna call you Michelle so we can call you Shelly. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
There is a section in this book that
Yeah.
lists the most popular names across the Forgotten Realms and also gives you advice if you would like
Respect.
to Forgotten Realms up your child's name.
Oh, I'm
Your
looking
exit,
right
like,
now. I'm
yeah. I mean,
you
Tiamat is a nice name.
there's some creative license here of I like the cooler Forgotten Realms name.
Oh, yes,
There are a
absolutely.
lot of vowels and consonants in these
There is.
names.
ooh,
Like
yeah.
This is
that's
pretty
how you
cool.
can Forgotten Realms up any name. You just basically remove all the vowels and add apostrophes.
What's funny is we did think about Charlotte for our daughter's name. So
Oh, that's a great name. So I didn't consider this when I was writing this, that one day I would have to read it in the audio recording. And I
oh
felt,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, just gonna have fun with this. But
In
yeah.
hindsight, Asmodeus
That's
Brown
great.
would have been really cool.
Ooh. Oh, that actually
That
that
would have,
has a nice
doesn't
ring.
it?
That
Maybe
really
I
does.
Doesn't it?
maybe I will start to refer to you as such.
I
That
think that's good.
I think I could go for that. I think yeah.
So, but you got to think about the nickname. Do you think people
Oh, I know what it
call
would
them
be, but I won't
ass?
say it right now.
You can't say
Yeah.
it right now because I'll pull out your nickname and then we'd have to R-rate
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
whole
that's
episode.
not really. It's we made the
So
mistake of both A, being in a fraternity, and B, being in it together.
Mm,
Both of
I
those were
love this.
mistakes. Yeah.
yeah, that, well,
Uh,
and the fraternity
Oh,
was a
we
little bit
could
on the
call
dirty
you
side.
Asmo.
Asmo's good.
Yeah.
Asmo Brown.
I'm going
I
for the
still
whole.
like it.
I still like Asmodeus. I'm
I
going for
mean,
the whole
I do
thing.
like it, yeah.
if
Yeah,
you wanted alliteration, though, I mean, Big B Brown is kind of cute.
Big B. But see, that's the whole B thing again.
I know.
And see,
Boo Brown.
I was and my dad was William, but he went by Bill, or is he's still here. My mom is Bonnie. My brother is Ben. We had a dog named Britt. So
Wow.
everyone was B. My grandparents' maiden name was Bundy, no relation to Al
Wow.
or Ted. So um there was like so many B's. So when it came time to name the kids, like my wife liked Bridget for a daughter, but I'm like, can't be a B. Sorry. I like
Can't
Bridget
do it.
too. So, but we named my
Asmodeus Brown has a nice ring to
yeah,
it.
like
It really does.
we did my son's name is Trent and we named him his middle name starts with a J because I thought, well, he could be TJ.
Right.
Nobody calls him
TJ Brown.
TJ except
I was thinking TJ Hooker.
no, my no, well, that William
I
Shatner.
know.
My dad calls him TJ, but no one else does.
Mhm.
Nobody does.
Yeah.
Nobody picked up on it.
Really, you
No.
do have to really put a lot of thought into that name.
What's
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
funny is as parents, we've
You know.
just blown how much time in this conversation on names, and from the
It's fun
perspective
to
of the
name
it
something.
is, but from the perspective of the child. Like I remember my daughter saying to me at various points, I can't imagine being anything else, right? Like
Oh,
unless you really epically fail, like they're going to be fine with their name. They'll have never known anything else and probably
right.
won't give it a whole lot of thought.
Mhm.
Isn't it weird? Sometimes I will think about like how weird. Like we have just named this person
Yeah.
for the
Oh
that's
yeah.
just
For the rest of their life.
Oh
And they
yeah.
and like you said, they can't imagine themselves not being
Right.
that name,
yeah. Yeah.
you know.
It's wild.
So
Parenting, man. It's
Yep.
wild. Woo!
well,
A
like
lot
you
of
said,
power.
It's a good time.
there's no need to become an encyclopedia. And I think you hit it too, even being a DM. I think I get caught, and I think we talked about this even in a prior episode with you. It you get you I'm I'm the type of person that gets caught up in trying to be an encyclopedia, and then I get wrapped up like a slinky,
Yeah.
when I try to DM, because I don't do it often enough. Um,
Yeah.
and then I
It's
make a
freeing.
mess. Yeah, it's freeing.
Well,
Free
and
yourself.
but so I just let's ask Asmodeus. I just have to get that out of my system. I'm better now. I'm better now. But I mean, I think it's right. It's like parenting and DMing. It's at the end of the day, like fundamentally, how capable are you to pivot in the moment when the unexpected happens, right? I mean, that's kind of like your whole
Yes.
book, right? Of these things are going to happen. Some are foreseen, many are unforeseen. And
Yes.
and can you keep the table together? And can you keep your wits about you and find that path?
Yes. That is one of the best things that a parent can learn from a
Yeah.
dungeon master
Yeah.
is be skilled at improv. The whole yes and the
Yeah.
improv tactic. And I like yes and, but I also like no but. And I use both
Yes.
of them quite a bit in
Yes.
parenting, but it's really important because it doing the yes and or the no but helps build trust,
Yep.
but it
Yep.
also really helps a kid learn, or it gives them agency. It helps them realize, hey, my idea has merit because you're not shutting it down. And it could be kids come up with some wild ideas. That's like, instead of just saying, absolutely not, we're not doing that. Is there a way that you could say, oh, I see what you're trying to do there. So what if we did this instead? And
Mhm.
that's a great thing for a dungeon master because players come up with wild ideas. Players want to be heroes. Players want to do remarkable things. They want their ideas to succeed. And you, as the dungeon master, might be thinking, oh my gosh, if they want to do that, then now I have to figure out like whatever. The behind the scenes dungeon master
Mhm.
stuff. Which is a terrible definition of like that's a terrible example. Just stuff. They have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But they're allowing the player to do it. And then
Mhm.
that makes the player feel invested and that gives the player confidence. And that is just such an important thing for kids to learn at an early age is like, no, like you matter. Your
Mhm.
decisions and your choices have value and they
Mhm.
also have consequences. So
Mhm.
while you can try to
Right.
do like
Right.
slip past this dragon that is clearly awake and you're wearing armor that's very clanky, you can try to do that, but understand there are consequences to what you're trying to do here.
Mhm.
That would probably be a good no but situation.
Yeah. I
But
like that. I
No, go ahead, Jace. Go ahead.
Well, I know how I think, and like, as soon as like whenever I've looked at the book, I like in the back of my mind, I'm doing this, and I'm curious if this entered your mind at all while you were writing, and even just conceptualizing. Like, I mean, it's DMing, and you're kind of close to D&D, right? And
mm-hmm.
there's so like when I look at this stuff, I can't help, and it's not just with D&D. I just whenever I look at life, the real world through RPGs, which I mean, Brad and I talk about this all of the time. I really like doing that. It's just fun. I can't help but at least in part question what's the role, right? How did the dice fall? How did the die fall?
Oh,
Whatever.
interesting.
Right. Okay, so you see where I'm going. So I'm just
Yep.
curious. I'm curious, like if I had tried to write something like this, I would have really, really struggled to not want to like refer, even tongue in cheek, to, right, well, in this case of a natty one, I had this epic failure, right? I'm curious if you ever like thought through the lens of the dice roll modifiers, anything, or if it was always much more thematic for you as you were writing.
There is a section that has like okay, so actually, one of the things that I really love about the book, if I may say that, even though
Yeah,
I wrote the book,
please.
the Moppet manual entries, which are written like monster manual entries, but they're really just different phases of a child from
Yeah, the terror, the
a
toddler
newborn,
terror.
yeah, the
It's really
toddling
cute.
terrors and like the the tweens and the teens, like they all have been statted up in that way. There is a section that does talk about the like a challenge rating for certain parenting tasks,
Sure.
or what you might do with if you were skilled in athletics, for instance. I give examples of like why you might need this skill. Like
Yeah.
here, like as a parent, you're gonna probably have to train up in all of them. You're gonna be proficient in everything, but and here's why you might want to be
Yeah.
putting a little more emphasis on in these categories. So I dabble in it in that regard
Okay. Fair.
a
Yeah.
little.
Fair enough.
Is
yeah.
that does that
Oh
answer,
yeah.
is
No,
that
no. I'm,
what you
I'm
were
just.
asking? Okay.
Yeah. No. No. That's exactly what I mean. And that's
Okay.
absolutely true. I'm just curious. We talked to. We are so fortunate. We get to talk to so many people, cool people like you, who have written, created, whatever. And one of the things that intrigues us is what was the creative process like? Right? How did you get there? And and that's so it's cool to just hear it. It's neat to talk about. And I think people are interested because like you pick up a book like this and it's like, well, this is fascinating and novel and different and applicable. But then, how did she get there? Like what was it
I
like
know.
inside? Because that's also informative, I think.
And there's
I
a
love
selfish
that.
component too, just because,
We also like to
when
know because it's geeky and cool. But
it's geeky and
I
cool
love
and
learning about creative process.
yeah,
Everybody's like parenting. Everyone does it differently.
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I just find it just because, at some point when we all go through the process and hearing the challenges and the successes and all that, then I mean, obviously you know that, you're not alone when you go through those,
Yeah.
talking about what's next on the docket for you
Yeah,
when,
seriously.
now that this book is dropping imminently. So
Yes. Well, remains to be seen, although I have an idea for another
Nice.
parenting book, but it's not in the D&D world. So like I don't
That's
even know
okay.
what I would like how I would write it. Like how can I do that? But something more about coming into this world as a late bloomer. I'm sure this will surprise you, but I'm not that young. And I wasn't entirely young when I became a mom. So I feel like I have a whole different perspective on parenting
Yeah.
through that lens, through like the by multifocal lens, I guess. My eyes are really
I
bad right now.
yeah, I got my progressives on, so
That's what I
That's
was trying to
hilarious.
remember.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
my
That's
progressives.
like their new branding. They're now called
That's
progressives.
why
Like,
that's why that's why you see me do this, because I'm like
Mm,
far away, up
yes,
close, far away,
yes,
close.
I have them too. I know. I have one pair that every
That's
time I'm
hilarious.
walking down the stairs, I'm like, ooh, 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 the stairs are like coming up to hit me in the face. They're not.
Yep.
They didn't nail the
You
frames that
don't
well.
live in D&D, you just write about it.
Right? Is it a
Right.
mimic? I don't know. Oh my gosh. If it's a baby, it's definitely a mimic. There you go.
There it
Free
is.
advice for you right there.
I think that's an interesting area, because they're you're seeing, I you know that there's stories now, the average age of parents is going up, of first
Yeah.
time parents is going up. I was 30, which is not old, but not as young as it was even like
Mhm.
Yeah, like
the
your
generation
parents.
before.
Yep.
I was 30 and 32 when ours were born. Um, and I turned 50 this year, so, which I'm still not over.
Sorry.
But um, but I think I think that's actually a very interesting topic, because
Mhm.
I'm seeing even folks that I knew who are just a few years younger than me, that are or in my age range, that are first time parents.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's not going to change. And there was just an article I read today that was in, I want to say it was research done at Harvard Business Review, or maybe something similar. I shouldn't quote that. Don't quote me on that. Where there's an increasing percentage of Gen Z that are considering just not being parents at all.
I saw that too.
You
This
know,
is this is a newer thing.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, there's this things can be tough these days. I had to just go back. If anyone
Mm.
asks, like, what's Shelly like? I'm just gonna tell them she's progressive.
Ah!
She's just a really progressive person, and I'm not gonna explain anything. Yeah, yeah. I really felt
That's right.
seen, right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
dad joke.
that's good.
That's terrible. That's
Love
yeah.
At
it.
least I'm surprised I haven't heard those.
I retract that email. Yeah.
And I'm actually surprised, Jason, you don't have progressives. So
I'm the only one in our group, in our age range, I know if it makes me feel better, about two, because I just turned 50, and I don't care. I think it's actually really funny. I mean, we're obviously a podcast, we're audio only. I keep getting these like 6 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago on Facebook,
Oh, yeah.
and every time it's like, oh, I look older, and there's a lot more gray. Right. But other than that, like visually, like 2 years ago, I started noticing because I read a ton and I love reading in the evenings and like low light, it's like I think I need to turn on more light. But
Oh, yeah.
but
Low
I
light
mean,
vision.
yeah, I have to have, I mean, I've had glasses since elementary school. I have to have them, but nope, not yet. Holding on to my vision.
Well, maybe you'll be spared. Maybe it won't happen.
I didn't need glasses till I'm 40, and then my eyes just went to hell within 10 years.
Wow, you had a good run.
I had a good run. I had a really good run, and then it just all went to hell.
And your
So-
glasses are really cool, I have to
Yeah,
say.
they do.
These
look good.
these are thanks to my snazzy children. I wanted ones
Nice.
that were different. Normally I do not
Cool.
wear light colored frames. These were not.
No, it was a departure for you.
Yeah, it was
No,
a
they-
it was
they
it
look
was a
good.
yeah, this is different. But I figured, you know what? Gray, light colored, the hair is going to go
Oh.
white. Jason's brother's wife said, "You're really going for the hipster look." When I saw her,
Wow.
so I'm like, "All right,
That's
I'll go for it."
Yeah, I'll
hilarious.
take that.
She also
Yeah,
said, "You look
seriously.
15 years younger," and I'm like, "You're just
Yeah, she
being."
thought you were 60 though.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
point. That's a good point.
I think if you're going to lie about your age, you
That's
should
a-
absolutely lie upwards. Like, don't you want people to think you look really good for your age? I should absolutely be telling people, like, I am 55. And they're going to be
So
like, wow, amazing.
that's not a
Oh
bad
yeah.
idea.
I mean, own it.
Yeah.
Right. What was it?
I mean, just like,
I'm not a James Taylor fan, but actually courtesy of the Orville, I really felt for this song, and I think it's some of the best wisdom or advice I have ever come across on aging. I actually have it stuck up here. The secret of aging is enjoying the passing of time.
oh,
And I look at that as a parent, and it's like, yeah,
Oh.
100%. Right, 100%.
yeah. At first, I feel the need to just make it clear that I'm not 55. I was saying I will tell
I know you
people
don't.
that
No,
I'm
no, I know you weren't.
55,
We
so I
know
won't.
that you aren't. We know that you
Oh,
aren't.
Jason was like, just own that. I'm like, I'm not going to
No.
own that, Jason. I'm actually
No.
not going to own that.
I wasn't.
Not
I
that
knew
there's
I knew that you
anything
weren't.
wrong with 55.
No.
Our like
God,
three
hoping I
listeners who
get
are in
there
their
one
20s
day,
are
I
like,
do.
what's happened?
Yes.
Oh my
I
God.
don't understand anything.
I guess I clicked
Old
on the
fogies.
I clicked subscribed on the wrong podcast. This is not what I thought I was getting on. So
Yeah. Well, I think the secret to looking young is to have a child when you're already old, because it really
go.
throws people off when they're like, "Oh my God,
Nice.
your kid's only 11?" Because they just can't imagine that anybody
You
could.
must be 34.
Yeah, I mean, she has to be in her 30s. Her kid's only
Nice.
11. Like that's
Nice.
yeah, that's the secret.
hey, you know what? Own it, right? Own it.
That's awesome.
That's Jason's new line.
Yep.
Yes,
She's
own
young
it.
and hip.
Yeah, Jason, I'm just gonna
Both
Asmodeus-
inaccurate, but thank you.
As Modius says, own it.
Your t-shirt.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
That's what's gonna
that's so
Dyson
gonna
Mind
happen.
Dyson Mind loadable
Own
on the
it.
front.
Yeah.
Asmodeus says own it on
Yeah.
the back. There we go.
There we go.
Yes.
That's gonna
So-
happen. That's good.
So-
That's your retirement plan. Good.
Nice.
Shelly, thanks for taking the time.
Oh my
with us
God,
tonight.
yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So good to see you.
I was looking so forward to this.
No, thank you
it's
so
always
much.
a delight. Always.
And this was the best episode for us to get back to recording again.
I'm glad.
because we
wonderful.
knew that this was going to be a fun episode to talk
Yeah.
about parenting and D&D and to get back talk about role playing again. And I got to ask now, I'm going to jump back in here. Since you're since you're not leading the DM
School group anymore, right?
school group anymore, do you game anymore? Do you still get a chance to game? Or
I mean, I haven't DM'd in months, but I have a lot of requests from a lot of the kids that I played with to
Nice.
please put together another group. So it's possible that my DMing career is not over yet.
I
not
hope
over
not.
yet?
But I really only want to DM for kids. I don't
That's
think I
really
can.
cool.
It's a whole different world. I always say it's as close to real world magic as you can find when
Aw.
you get a good group of kids together and just watch their little imaginations just crack wide open.
That's
cool.
a beautiful way to wrap it. Shelly, congratulations on
Thank
yet another book.
you.
It's so cool. May it sell and just an ungodly number of copies.
We're gonna have the links to
Oh
it
yeah,
out
absolutely.
on the show notes here. It drops on November
November
11th.
12th.
November
Yeah,
12th.
which isn't far from
Yes.
when this drops. So that's
No.
Yes.
just in time. Just in time for that
Just in
all
time.
important election buying season, followed by
Yes.
more things. Yeah.
Yes,
Buy the
Yes.
book, tell
absolutely.
your friends to buy the book, buy a few copies, get the Kindle.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to hear the audio. That sounds real, no pun intended. That just sounds really cool. That's
was-
really neat you got to do
It
it.
was very fun, I will say. But
Is it-
also, I'm not gonna. There were so many words that were hard to pronounce, like D&D words, and every time I came across one, I'm like, why did I write that? Me and the producer, who's not a D&D player, she was always like, oh, I don't know if I can help you. I don't know what this word is.
Now, is that going to be through Audible?
You can get it on Audible for sure.
Okay. Is it like with Kindle and then you can add the audio on the Kindle? Maybe? Or
Maybe.
I'll have to look.
Yeah.
I'll have to look because I'll have to look I'm gonna have to get that because that'll be one of those things where I'd be able to listen to that in the car.
Oh,
Mhm.
I
I
would
was just-
be delighted to go on journeys with you.
So awesome. You'll road trip with me up to see Jason then. So
There you
Okay.
go. Yeah.
awesome.
Kelly,
Sounds
thank you
fun.
so much. It's so good to
Yes,
see
thanks.
Oh, you too. Thank you so much for having me.
You know, it's funny, right as we were talking, right at the beginning, and I can't remember if this was during the recording or not, but as we were recording the intro, I don't know if you heard the sound or not, but I forgot to hit mute on my phone. So there's probably a very faint ding in the background. And
I did not hear that. That's great.
it is something that we actually talked about with her because we explicitly said,
Yes.
I will every once in a while I will forget. And
You-
all it was
Yeah.
my outside camera notification telling me that there was
Oh.
a car that drove by. It wasn't
Sure.
an email notification. So
Sure.
it was a
that's-
mellower ding, but it was just funny. And I didn't get a chance to say something before we
Yeah. So just to
pause
be
it for the interview.
clarified, just to clarify that for everyone. So as we wander over to Audubon Court, we're
Mhm.
going to talk about why Brad and how Brad has become a grumpy old man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yes. Get off my lawn.
There it is.
So yeah, as we head over to Audubon Court, thank you, Shelly, yet again for joining us. Look forward to having you, whether it is for another book or not. And it's interesting, like Shelly was talking about in terms of being a mom and at what age you are becoming a parent. The age of being a first-time parent is changing at this point in our history versus even what it was 20 years ago. So,
Sure.
and it's interesting to see, and I think it will be, I think there's a lot to be told about that. So I think, Shelly, I think you have a voice that needs to be heard on that. So,
Definitely.
you know,
Everyone should run out and get the book. Seriously.
seriously, it is a phenomenal book. And I'd sent it to Angela, and I don't know if it is correlated or not, but I will tell you that earlier today, I heard a notification go off in Facebook and Facebook Messenger, and I got a message from my wife, um, that was a post that she sent me that was 10 D&D sites you can visit in Lake Geneva. Um,
Oh, I'll be right
now,
back. I've got to make a call and see if something froze over. Hold on.
yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. That she sent this to me.
Whoa.
So
Oh, just for our younger listeners, Facebook is what old people use instead of TikTok.
yeah, it's called Boomer TikTok.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, Boomer Instagram, Boomer Snapchat, Boomer
Right.
TikTok, whatever you want to call it.
Right. You
So,
use Twitter, we use Bitter. Go on.
well, Twitter doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
the way it's going, let's be quite honest, the way it's going, Twitter or X won't
Let's
exist
just
much
face it,
longer anyway.
we're all
Yeah.
waiting for X to implode.
Yes, yeah.
That's right.
So, and if you haven't noticed, there's been some changes in terms of membership there as well. Um, you know,
Yeah.
but as we head over to Autobahn,
Hmm.
we've both had very busy summers, and we've both been away at some form or another. We've had some time off. We've had a couple um,
We've had
um,
family
re
stuff.
we've had family stuff. We've had some reruns
Yep.
because of it, and so we've
Yep.
had some time. Have you had time to have anything on your desk? Um, I kind of know already
Well,
what,
actually, I'll
you
tell
know.
what I'm going to say is not what you're expecting.
Oh, okay.
Um, so as we record this, and it's still going to be like another week or two until I'm done. So as we record this, a bit earlier this fall, I am halfway through my reread of The Return of the King. So I've been over this calendar year.
I don't even know if I knew that.
So we've talked about this on the podcast before. It's been quite some time.
Maybe I didn't. I just
You and I had both picked up just gorgeous prints of The Fellowship of the Rings.
yes.
And I bought it committed to the notion that I would reread it. I read The Lord of the Rings for the first time as an adult. I mean, I was already like well into grad school, about 20 years ago. And so I've been doing it book by book, just kind of accidentally every 3 months, I picked up the next one. And so of course I read, the Fellowship of the Ring, uh I read The Two Towers, and now I am just past the midpoint of the Return of the King. And so in another week or two, I will finish my second read of the entire Lord of the Rings of the three books.
Wow.
And I will say it is it is even better now than the first time I read it. And it stuck with me that first time. But it's so good. And of course, it's tangentially relevant, if not more so, to D&D, because
Mhm.
I mean, that was the motivation, right? For Gygax and Arneson and the others of how can we play in this world?
Mhm.
Um, and so that's what's been on my desk. It's a thick tome of a book. It is a gorgeous print. This is the one that has Tolkien's original drawings and
The
illustrations.
artwork.
It's lovely, yeah, and it's just so good. But I find that if I keep reading until too close to bedtime, I get so into the world because it's so immersive that I fall asleep and I'm still thinking about it. And and that's fine, but like at this point it's all about like traipsing across Mordor. And it's like, these aren't like, hey Tom Bombadil stuff. But it's so good.
Don't you, if you read too close to bed, doesn't it intellectually stimulate you enough where it makes it more difficult to sleep?
It can. I
Okay.
I usually don't have that problem. In fact, what I typically do in the past few years now. What I typically do is as I drift off, like kind of as I settle, not quite, but as I kind of settle in and start to try to go to sleep, I will intentionally review what I need to be writing the next morning. And I'll let my mind
Um,
wander on that, uh, free of distractions. And I find that that has actually aided my writing a bit. Like in the morning, once I've gone through all of my, I had my coffee and everyone's out and whatever, and I have my hour, that I can refer back to what I was thinking before bed or before I went to sleep. But yeah, if I'm not careful, and if it's really well written, like Tolkien, if I'm not careful, then it'll just that's always been honestly, I don't know why I'm saying this on air. That's always been an issue with me with fiction. If I'm not careful, if it's really immersive, I really get into it.
See, if I get into something immersive, whether be it fiction or nonfiction, and this has been a problem lately because I purposefully switched from fiction to nonfiction. I've been reading um, in effect, some biographies lately,
Yeah,
um, thinking, oh, you know what, maybe I'll switch to some nonfiction and some biographies that I've had on my Kindle that have been out
nice.
there, that I haven't been like dying to read, but have been on my Kindle. Um, but again, I've started reading them and I get into it and I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I went like 30 minutes past what I wanted to read.
Right,
And
right.
now I'm up later than I wanted.
Yep.
And so I've had to actually curb my later evening reading on purpose,
Yeah, it makes sense.
because of it. And I've had to actually like restructure my evenings related to reading and writing,
Yeah, yeah.
just to pull back on anything too.
Hmm.
But we went sideways on this, but um, too intellectually, like anything that to be too intellectually stimulating, just because otherwise, there's just too much. I, there's too many things that I have on my plate that would just
Yeah,
keep me up.
yeah.
Um, for me, I've alluded to this
Hmm.
in on social media, but I found, um, just by chance, I don't know what I was looking up. I think it was under the guise because Trent and I have talked about um, um, doing kind of a grand game of Axis and Allies.
Oh,
Um, but I've stumbled onto the publisher GMT Games over the past few weeks. Now,
yeah.
you know, we've talked about this. This is by the time this comes out, this will all have passed. But at the time we're recording, breaking the wall again, um, we're in the midst of this due date and revision and edit of um chapters for, you know,
Yeah, for an anthology.
an anthology. So I had put everything else on hold because otherwise I just know that I won't be as focused as I want to be, and this is really my first foray into this. But when I allowed myself to wander, I gave myself that time. I was looking at all these games at this company, these war games and strategy games. I mean, it's not just war games, there's strategy games, there's space strategy games. Um, there's one called Space Core. There's just phenomenal stuff. And um, I just I just have this, I imagine this, you walk into a store with this company's games on all these shelves, and it'd be
Hmm.
like walking as like a 7 or 6 year old in the FAO Schwartz. Um,
Yes.
that's what I'm,
Yes.
or
I was thinking
any,
I was thinking KB.
or a Lego store at any age.
Yes.
Um,
Yes,
you know,
seriously.
so I do have a select couple that are still wrapped, and won't be touched as the time we're recording this until um I've met some self-imposed deadlines. But
Hmm.
um
Well, let's
and
be honest. You have dictators as two editors who are imposing deadlines on all of you guys and gals.
yeah, that too. But again, I also,
Yeah.
you know, yes. So, but I won't touch those until those deadlines are met. But I do want to get into those, and I think it's an area I just didn't realize how robust some of these are. And I kind of alluded to this in the past. I think this is an area that we'll probably peck at a little bit in 2025.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because it's an interesting one. And I think we've both looked into this a little bit, and I've looked into it a little bit more in the past few weeks. And I think there's a real academic element to this that's fascinating,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we're going to investigate further.
Yep. You heard it here first. Of course you
So,
did, because it's just us, but yeah, we are definitely going to look into this.
I think as we wrap up, though, it just as a side note, it's good to have you back. I did do
Yeah.
that
Thank
solo
you.
episode. It was fun. Loved having Katie back.
Yeah. You did a
Um,
beautiful job. And of course, Katie was lovely as always.
yeah, and so lucky. What more could I ask for, having to do a solo effort, than to have someone who in effect is a someone who does broadcast television multiple days, 5 days a week, who
You
in
mean
effect
it's
has,
easier to work with people who know what they're doing.
yeah, pretty much. No, no, well, no, not a knock on you. I'm just saying that someone who literally, if you think about it, she is, granted she
Yeah,
has a script,
I
but she's
remember
improvising every
you
day.
texted me and you were like, I think she interviewed me.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's
uh,
neat.
so very grateful for that. But I think one thing I did text you and say was the the DNA of the show is our banter back and forth, whether it's adding on the third or more guests, or it's
Yeah,
just you and I doing this.
right.
So glad to have that back. And we're back to our
But don't worry, everyone, because it's probably congenital and it's not going to go to the next generation.
yeah, okay, whatever. Jerk,
Yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna make this. I'm gonna make this already. You ass. So
I am. Oh, great. Now I have to flip that switch on Poppy.
yeah.
It's really good to be back. Yeah, it's good to be back with you, Brad. It's good to be back with all of you.
And I didn't use your exit, as you
Well,
heard. So,
we can that you could have. We can it's
no,
our exit, but we can fix that. Thanks as always for listening. Thanks again to Shelly for everything. We have a bunch of things lined up, as you can imagine, for the rest of this autumn or spring, depending on where you're listening, moving across the coming seasons, with the holiday season in the very, very far distance, but still we know it's there on the horizon. So, as always, be well, stay well. We will see you in a couple of weeks.